This is CNN Breaking News.
Good morning. Welcome to your new day. We are following breaking news here in Miami. Unfortunately, Hurricane Irma is heading right for us at this hour. The storm is scarring every place she touches in the Caribbean. So far, we've seen each chain of islands get hurt. Cuba is next in the storm's path. We have the best proof and predictions for you this morning about what is most likely. South Florida right now is under a hurricane warning. It looks like it's going to be a Category 4. That's 155 miles an hour of winds that you can get. They can be sustained. You can get gusts that are even greater. The models are calling for a hit somewhere in South Florida sometime Sunday. You got to be vague because things change. As it gets closer, changes less. So this could be the last beautiful and tranquil morning that you see from South Florida. Now, to every man and woman, every official and first responder, all have the same message. If you have been told to evacuate, do it now. And those who aren't going to evacuate, those who must shelter in place, have a plan. What does that mean? Supplies for 72 hours. Anticipate that you could have no power for 3 days. That's how long it may take to get it restored, to get help to you. Take a look at the map. You can see where evacuations are underway in Florida. And just because your county may not have an evacuation order in place right now, that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. So please check. Keep watching CNN, keep going to the site, go to your local news sites, and take a look at the maps and do what you need to do. Lots of people are already getting out of Dodge. We'll show you the pictures of the roadways. It's chaotic, it's difficult, but it may be the difference in being safe and not being safe. Obviously, they're all headed north. Florida's governor shutting down offices. Schools are shut down. Colleges, even some hospitals have been closed. Miami is a storm-savvy place. There's no question about that. Much of the construction is newer and built to storm specs, but 150-mile-an-hour winds are no joke. 20 feet or more of storm surge is no joke. It can easily overwhelm the best defenses, Allison, and that is the message. If you can get out, do it.
Yeah, so Chris, 10 people have already been killed by Hurricane Irma, and that number is expected to rise as it hits more populated areas. The storm is hammering Turks and Caicos. Here are some video taken overnight. The wind, as you can see, the torrential rain has caused widespread destruction. Now the Bahamas and Cuba are bracing for the worst. They are next in line to be hit by Irma. The Red Cross says the storm has already battered 1.2 million people, but 26 million more are in its path. And as if that is not bad enough, there's another hurricane on Irma's heels. So we are now keeping a close watch on Hurricane Jose. CNN is using all of our global resources to bring you up-to-the-minute coverage of Hurricane Irma, beginning with CNN meteorologist Chad Myers. Give us the latest projections at this hour, Chad.
It's going to hit the Florida Keys first, and then it goes up into the Everglades. That's where it hits the United States. Right now, it's still in very warm water, 155 miles per hour. And I know it says Cat 4 behind me here. Cat 5 is 157. Okay, split hairs there for me. This is still a very dangerous storm. Can't take your eyes off it. This is not a Cat 1. This is Cat 4. This is serious. This is a 20-foot storm surge and wind gusts along the Keys, still at about 145 miles per hour as it makes landfall and then moves up into the Everglades and right through the spine of Florida, right through central Florida, and even by the time it gets to Orlando, it may still have winds of around 105. There's your landfall through the Keys. Miami going to get an onshore flow, going to fill up Biscayne Bay with a storm surge, a big storm surge. Let me go to the European model because we talked about European American all day yesterday. The European has been outperforming on this particular storm. Now, the American did great on the 2015 snowstorm, so you still have to give it some props. But here is the European model, Saturday, 6 a.m. Wind gusts in Miami. We'll focus on Miami now, and then I will look at the rest of the state in a little bit. Miami, by Saturday, 3 o'clock, you're going to see wind gusts of 50. By 8 o'clock, you're already to the hurricane. And here comes the eye of the hurricane down there through the Keys. Hurricane gusts in Miami, 75 miles per hour or more. Same story for Naples and Fort Myers. Now we run the storm to 2 p.m. Miami, you're absolutely 100 miles per hour or more. So are the Everglades, but no one really lives there. Everglades City, but still, the Keys getting out of it, but you saw a wind gust to 145 somewhere around Key Colony Beach, maybe Robbie's Marina, Worldwide Sportsman. If you live there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I go there every single year. There's the wind through the central part of Lake Okeechobee. Watch the flooding possible here. We talked about the governor yesterday lowering the level of that lake, but with a wind gust over 100, who knows what's going to go on there. And then finally, here we are, Monday, 2 o'clock in the morning, a little after midnight. The entire state covered by hurricane force gusts. Not one person will probably not see a hurricane force gust here across parts of Florida. And then it gets into Georgia and South Carolina. There will be significant onshore flow. There will be flooding in Charleston. There'll be flooding in Savannah. There'll be flooding in Jacksonville, just like we saw with Matthew. Guys, back to you.
Boy, Chad, I'll tell you, and I have so much respect for what you do, but I've never wanted you to be more wrong than I do right now. But I know the models are telling you what they're telling you, and you make a good point that we heard from the first responders yesterday. There's so much water down here.